It worked. Hey, what do you know?
Way.
All right. Hey, everybody. Get closer to the mic. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. This is Jason T. Powell. You are joining us for the Coaches Spot. I'm here with my co-host, Will Smith.
What's up? What's up?
And today we actually are going to, first off, just so y'all know, we're going to actually stick to our 45-minute limit because Will's got a meeting anyway. So that'll help us.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to stick to it because our last one, we had, I'll tell you what, though, with as long as it went 2.5 hours. It's like our third or fourth most listened to show.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, too, because we went so long.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're just going to pose one question. We're going to discuss it, and then we're going to be out. So the question, I'll let you pose the question.
Yeah.
It was your question, bro.
Right. So I'll give you the genesis of it. Okay.
Okay.
So obviously, you're dealing with this with your kid now.
Mm-hmm.
You're at the beginning initial stages of it. I'm getting towards the back end of it.
Right.
So I'm dealing with my oldest. He's a senior,
mm-hmm.
and we're getting to a very borderline stage. Are
Right.
you at the end of your athletic career, or are you moving into another stage of it?
Right.
He's in track. He's a hurdler. He's
Mm-hmm.
running the 100, the 110, and the 330s. He's a sprinter.
Right.
But his technique is horrible. We've talked about getting some additional coaching. We've got, obviously you can go to YouTube, you can get all kinds of, individual training. He's got coaches there.
Right.
He goes to track practice every morning. He had track practice this morning. It's last night. It's about 11:30. He's over at his girlfriend's. He has to get up about 7:30. So I'm texting him like, hey, it's probably a good idea. You need to be coming home now because as an athlete, you need rest.
Right.
Like, I'll be home in a little bit and, I'll get some sleep. I'm like, no. If you're an athlete, you know what your body needs.
Yeah.
You need rest. You need practice. And he is the king of the bare minimum. What can I do just to get by? I know I'm going to have a 2-hour track practice tomorrow, but that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, any legitimate athlete knows that I need to work on my own. I need to make sure that I'm taking care of my body. I'm eating right. I'm actually training. I'm watching video, all these things. Because as an athlete, as a coach, you want your athletes to go above and beyond.
Right.
And so he's talented. He's gifted. I'm not trying to brag. These are things that he has that I never had.
Mm-hmm.
He's way faster than I'll have ever been. He's much more agile. He can jump out of the bar. But again, he's bare minimum. So I sat him down this morning after I chewed his butt out last night about, you shouldn't have to be told when to come home to get rest. You're going to be dragging butt in the morning when you get up, all these things. So the question is what is it that actually makes somebody an athlete? Is it just skill? Is it just gift? Is it just being a participant? Can you actually work yourself into being an athlete if you have none of those things? Is it a combination of all? Being a coach, being in the athletic realm for such a long time, and that was my question posed to you or anybody else. What makes somebody an actual athlete?
Yeah, and when you first posed the question, so I'll take it in stages because when you first posed the question to me,
it's a wide question.
Right. My initial feeling as a coach and as a multiple coach, as a gymnastics coach, as I've coached other events or I've coached other sports, and then as a life coach, I believe showing up is what makes you an athlete. Yeah. Showing up to your required practices. Now, saying that, what makes you an elite athlete is totally different.
Yeah, there you go.
But anybody, I don't care if you, and when this was my first gut feeling when I heard the question, and I by the way, there's my Do the Work shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
For those of you that are listening, I have a shirt on that says Do the Work.
Yeah.
By the way, it's Lions, not cheap. I don't get a piece. I actually do if I give you a code, but I don't get a piece of anything. But their shirts are awesome, and their podcast is really good. So give them a listen. I get no money for that, by the way. That's my personal opinion. The Sean and Sack show, SAX, Sean and Sack show. It's pretty cool. So anyway, with that being said, when I first heard the question, my initial gut instinct was the people that show up are athletes. Okay. And that's even at your workout gym. If you're 400 pounds and it's your first day of working out, you showing up makes you the athlete.
There you go.
That's how I feel with everybody. Now, with that being said, you got to keep going every day to be an athlete.
Yeah.
And when you stop going, and everybody needs a break now and again, but when you stop going for any amount of time, that's when you start becoming an ex-athlete.
There you go.
So that's how I feel. I don't want to say my fluffy answer, because I think it's true. I think everybody has an athlete inside of them, no matter what. If you never did, and there's nothing wrong with this, if all through grade school, high school, you were a drama geek, which I say drama geek, a lot of my friends are actors and were drama geeks and make really good money at it. And it's hard coming from someone that did it. It's really hard. And I have all the respect in the world from them. I'm just saying, you could have been that your whole life. A perfect example is Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Look at him. Would you think he's an athlete? Tom Hardy?
Yes.
I mean, from the movie Warrior,
just looking at the guy,
Bane, all that stuff. He didn't start working out till he got his role in Warrior.
Really?
They said, I can't remember who the other actor is in Warrior. It's one of my favorite movies too. I can't remember what his name is. But they said he ran circles around Tom Hardy.
Oh wow!
Because he was an athlete all through high school and everything else. Tom Hardy's like, I like drinking beer. I like partying. He's like, I was a drama guy, you know, and he put on all that muscle for that role and everything, and then he got into the physical part of it, and he became an athlete really late in life. Mm-hmm. But I think you can become an athlete any day. Yeah. I don't care if you're 80 years old and you decide I want to play with my grandkids. I got to get to the gym. You're an athlete. Mm-hmm. And people that don't show respect to people at the gym, that it's their first day or whatever, I have such a disdain for them. Yeah. Because you know how hard it was, the vulnerability it takes for them to come there that first day, mm-hmm. or to even look at memberships, right? Or to get a trial membership or anything like that. So anybody that has a problem with them, I have a problem with you, mm-hmm. and I will defend that person till the end. That being said, elite athlete's a totally different thing, right? Whether you're a pro athlete, even elite level in gymnastics, if you're elite level at anything, select, things like that, you got to put in the extra work. Mm-hmm. And that's the difference between an elite athlete and an athlete. Yeah. I think everybody has an athlete in them.
Yeah, I think for everybody, there's a desire to compete.
Yes.
Whatever your avenue is, and you're totally correct. Once you step into that arena, it takes a lot of guts to do something you've never done before.
Oh, for
no matter what age you are. And like when I go into Apex, and there's people you see come in there, and some of them, you can tell they may have just walked out of Dick's Sporting Goods and they bought their first workout outfit, or they either pulled out out of their closet they haven't seen in like 20 years.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to work the machines. And man, but the fact that it took them the guts to go and do that in front of other people, and just have that courage to do that. And that takes more courage than the guy that's been there for the last 20 years.
Oh, for sure.
To grunt and groan and show off and squeeze and all that stuff. That takes more courage to do that than anybody else. Right. And if you don't know what you're doing and it's the first day and you know you're going to be sore and you know it's not going to look impressive and all that stuff, man, more power to you. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of things I'm not good at, and I don't have the courage to go and do them in front of a bunch of strangers.
Right.
I'm not willing to do that. Because I don't have that kind of competitive nature. Trust me, I'm not going to go out and work in front of my truck in front of a bunch of people, because I'm going to fail at it. Right. I'm going to be miserable at it. But they've done it. So there's a competitive nature in everybody.
I think that, and there becomes a point. It's a quote, and I don't know the exact quote, but the gist of it is, sooner or later, true warriors, champions, whatever you want to call them, at any level. And I think if you show up, the day one, you're 300 pounds. Yeah. Well, let's say you're not even 300 pounds. Let's say you're 150 pounds. Let's say you're 6'2".
Let's say you're 110.
Yeah. Yeah. Say you're 110. They're both, by the way, they're both bad. If you're 110 and you're skinny fat, right? You're out of shape and everything else, but you show up to do it and you can do 2 plates on a stack. You know, you're like putting the pin all the way up right after the 135-pound girl got off of there, right? And you're a dude and you're 110 pounds and you got to move it to 10 pounds. Yeah. And you go. That takes a lot of guts. Oh, yeah. And so that makes you an athlete. But the quote is, sooner or later, anybody that goes through any kind of choosing to change is just sick of their own bullshit.
Oh yeah.
And you have to become sick of your own bullshit. And there becomes a time, no matter what this, and my sister, who argues with me all the time, says on the podcast I shouldn't say this, that I'm going to make a lot of people angry. But here's the bottom line. This whole, everybody's against body shaming right now, and everybody's against, oh, well, they're beautiful no matter what. And, no, you're unhealthy.
Right.
You're unhealthy. If you can't run a mile in less than 15 minutes, and you get out of breath going upstairs, and there's plenty of people I lift with that look what people would consider fat, that are in spectacular shape. Don't get me wrong, and they should have pride in what they can do. They can also deadlift 575 pounds.
Right.
And guess what? They don't get tired when they go up a flight of stairs because they're putting the work in. It's the people that aren't putting the work in, and you're like, no, you're beautiful just the way you are. No, you're not. You're out of shape, and you're going to die at 42.
Yep.
Like, people have to be honest with that. My doctor, I went to my doctor. I was 270 pounds, or 217 pounds. Sorry, 270 pounds. That'd be pretty big. 217 pounds. And he looked me right in the face, and he said, not another damn pound. You cannot afford to gain any more weight. And he was dead. He looked me right in the eye, and he said, you're gonna die early if you stay on the track you're on. And I was like, okay. And I went to the gym, and I got back into it. I don't know if I've told the story of, I was an athlete. I was a wrestler, boxer. I did gymnastics. I did football. I did all those things. I was an athlete. I even coached wrestling for a little bit. I kickboxed for a long time. I boxed for a long time, and I was an athlete. And then I hit a certain age, and I just stopped cold turkey. Done. Stopped working out, stopped doing everything. Yeah. And then I would work out off and on through that whole period, but I was losing muscle, and I was gaining fat. And it just got to a point. It was my son. We were watching a Marvel movie, and he's like, you're my superhero, Dad. And I was like, I gotta get in shape. I gotta be the person that my son sees. And I want to be that person for him, because I don't want him to be 12 years old and look at me and be like, oh, I can't believe I thought that dude was a superhero. Right. That dude's fat. Like, that dude's out of shape. And so I went into the gym, and I bought a membership. I wish I could tell you that I went that Monday and rocked it since. No. 377 days later of paying a membership that I never used, I went back to that gym. And the owner is sitting at his desk, and he's like, he starts getting out the cancellation paperwork as I drive up. He sees my truck drive up. He's like, oh, here's that jackass that bought a membership. He's probably coming in to cancel. And that's what he told his business partner, because their desks were right by the front, and they could see everybody pull in. And he already had the cancellation paperwork on his desk. Right. And so I walk in, and I actually walk up to his business partner, who's John. It's Brian and John. And I walk up to John. I'm like, hey, John. I didn't even know his name. That's how often I've been there. I go, can you, because you have to log in every day. I go, can you tell me the last time I logged in? He's like, yeah, sure. So he pulls it up. And they're both totally just like, oh,
they knew the free money was gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm not using their equipment or anything. It's free. Yeah. Like, I'm paying them $29.99 a month for nothing. Yeah. And so he looks it up. He's like, yeah, 377 days. And Brian is at his desk, and he goes, here, I got your cancellation paperwork right here. I go, oh, I don't want it. He's like, what? I go, I just wanted to know how much money I wasted, so I'll stop doing it. And he's like, oh, well, we have a weight loss challenge going on right now. It's $99 to join, but you get a heart rate monitor with that. And the heart rate monitor is usually $99 on its own. And it keeps track of you on all the screens throughout the gym, everything else. So I'm like, oh, give me that. I'll do the weight loss challenge. How long is it for? He's like, 12 weeks. I'm like, is it overall percentage or what? And he's like, it's overall percentage. I'm like, oh shit, I'm a wrestler, bro. Like, all my boxing and wrestling cutting weight automatically went into my head. I'm like, ooh, free money. So I'm like, I'm gonna win it. It's $2,500. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay. I go, I'll weigh in tomorrow. So I came back the next day. I weighed in. I was 217, 218, somewhere like that. Weighed in, worked out, put the heart rate monitor on, which made a huge difference, because it's like a video game.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, these are the calories I burned, and you get these MEPs that are calories and heart rate and all this stuff put together. And and they post who had the most that month and all
made
this
it a
stuff.
competition.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And so I started that day, and I'm like, about 2-3 weeks in, they lost their boxing coach who taught the boxing class and kickboxing class. I'm like, bro, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I got a train. I was working with a trainer, and you know, the first day I went in, I was in baggy sweatshirt and everything, and I was already losing weight because I changed my diet and everything. And it became a competition for me. And then they asked me to teach this class. And I'm like, yeah, I'll teach that class. So I was doing 2-a-days now because I was working out in the morning and then come back and teach the classes in the afternoon. And so it's like 2-a-days because, you know, I was doing stuff in the class too. And I'd wear my heart rate monitor and everything else. And there were so many people that were seeing how well I was doing. They just quit. They just stopped the competition. That shows you human nature today.
Yeah.
They don't see me and say, motivation, I'm going to beat that son of a bitch. No, they're like, I quit.
Yeah.
I quit. No, not even worth it. I quit. I'm going home. Beefcake 2000. Bye. That's how they are. That's how people are. And so I found out who my main competition was. And I would look and see if he checked in that day and all that stuff. And it just kept pushing me. And then the last 3 days, I do not recommend this at all. It was Easter weekend. For 3 days, I didn't take a calorie in. I just drank water. And then the last day, I didn't even drink water. I did no water, no calories, nothing. I walk in for my weigh-in. I'm 169 from 217 in 12 weeks, which is decent or pretty.
That's pretty freaking good.
And I go in. My wife goes with me because we're going to go to lunch.
You were still working out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife goes with me. Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't miss a day.
Yeah.
I didn't miss one day. And my wife goes with me for weigh-in. I weigh in at 169. I'm like, and I've been cutting weight my whole life.
Yeah.
So I was like, I could go home right now and take a nap, and I'll wake up 3 pounds lighter. Yeah. Because my metabolism, I'm just sweating all the time. My body, I could just feel it. And I was drinking Celsius and stuff, so I could just feel my body. And I'm on fire all the time. Yeah. And I could just feel it just burning off. Which is terrible for you, by the way. I don't recommend this for anybody.
It's not healthy.
Well, and here's what happened. I weigh in, I'm 169. I'm like, is it good enough? He's like, I can't tell you that. You gotta say that's your weight, and then I'll tell you where you're at in the competition. Yeah. I said, I look at my wife and I go, I can go home right now and take a nap because you're exhausted. You only have energy for your workouts. Right. That's how bad it is for you. I only had energy for my workouts. Everything else I was doing, I was like, oh. So, I mean, all of Easter, I slept on the couch watching golf while everybody else was eating and stuff. And Easter meal at my mom's house is my favorite meal. It's corn, mashed potatoes, and ham. It doesn't get better. Yeah. So I'm like, and I'm just laying on the couch. Everybody's eating candy and I'm just dying. And I weigh in, I do all that, and I look at my wife. I'm like, I could go home and lose another 3 pounds. And she goes, it's up to you, baby. And I'm like, no, I want to go to Saltgrass. I want a ribeye. I want a salad with ranch. I want a cheesecake. I have all these things in my head that I want. Yeah. And I'm like, no, just post it. Post that weight. He's like, you won by 1%. You lost 22% of my body weight. Wow. 22% in 12 weeks. That's amazing. It's amazing, but my wife looked right at me and she goes, okay, start lifting because you look like you just got out of Auschwitz. Like, no disrespect meant to everybody knows the respect I have for the Jewish community. Right. So no disrespect there. But I did. I looked like I just got out of prison camp. I was drawn out. My face was all
like you just got pulled off of an island.
Right, yeah. Right. I looked terrible. And then I looked at Brian. I said, okay, I need to buy some personal training stuff because now I want to put it back in muscle.
Now you're going to bulk?
Yeah. And he's like, okay, see you Monday. And I bought another package of training stuff and I showed up Monday. Mm-hmm. In 3 years, right before I tore my Achilles, I tore it in April of last year. I had missed 3 workouts in 3 years. Right. 3 workouts in 3 years. I take great pride in that. Right. And then I tore my Achilles and I missed a bunch of workouts. And I just got back now because I had shoulder surgery. And I just got back. Like this week is the first week where I'll do a full week of training.
Right.
And I already feel better.
Well, see, and that goes to the next part of the question then.
Right.
Because obviously people can get in there, and that takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of sacrifice.
It's the first step.
Right. But then going to the next level, whether you've got gifts, you've got skills, you've got the ability to say, hey, I'm going to do this.
Right.
But again, that's okay. So that's step one. Great. You started the race.
Right.
But then when you've got people that, you know, and you've worked with Olympic level gymnasts, you've seen people who are the elite when it comes to combat sports.
Yeah.
I've worked with Major League Baseball players.
We sponsor one right now.
Exactly.
Valdez.
That's right.
Valdez.
I've worked with an NFL athletes.
Right.
When you have people who are like that, and you know that, okay, so they've started the course, and it's not just skill that will get you beyond just entry level. Okay, great. You're participating.
Right.
There is something more than just that gets you to the next step. Because just participating is not enough.
It's the same mindset in every champion I've known. And that's champions that fail. There's plenty of champions I've coached or I've been around that you've never heard their name. They've never done spectacular in competition. They're still champions in my eyes. And it's because they all have the exact same mindset, which is they're never done. What's next? What can I do to challenge myself next? And if there's one thing that I really got out of that whole weight loss competition was after that weight loss competition, I started working out with Brian and I did all these workouts and I saw myself change as an athlete. And I'm like, why didn't I work out like this when I was an athlete? Because I'm so much more athletic now.
Yeah.
As I talk about tearing my Achilles, but
well, there has to be an evolution in the way you work out as you get older. That just has to happen.
For sure. And like I got quicker. I hit the heavy bag harder. Yeah. I benched more than I ever benched in my life. I squatted more than I ever squatted in my life, which by the way, never squat more than 315. Don't do that to yourself. Yeah. 315 is the max for just bigger dudes.
Well, unless you think you're going to be in a strongman competition.
If you're not a power lifter, don't lift heavy. Like everybody's like, oh, I did this, I did that. I do that purely out of ego. So I'm telling you to do something that I don't abide by, which is I do bench my max and stuff like that because I want to know where I'm at, but very, very seldom. Like if I'm working out, it's 75% most of my max do I lift with. There's no reason after a certain age that in deadlifts, don't do deadlifts. They're pro football players have told me that. Don't do deadlifts. They're worthless. Compare squats, lunge. You really want to get to be an athlete? Do lunges. Lunges, I hate lunges. I hate Bulgarian squats. I did one-legged Romanian squats this week with my foot up on a bench. So it's really like a modified Bulgarian Romanian squat or deadlift. It's terrible, but holy crap, don't deadlift. Deadlifts, it's terrible for your back. It's terrible for
and it's funny, like you see how many, like right now, both my boys, they do deadlifts at high school.
Yeah.
All the time.
There's some lifting coaches, strength coaches that tell you never do them.
Well, I can say between deadlifts, clean and jerks,
Clean and jerk is 10 times better for you or better for you athletically.
Yeah.
Power cleans, all that. Power cleans might be the perfect exercise.
They actually have a clean school.
Yeah.
They go to, and they just teach that all day long.
And it's a single bet for explosiveness and everything else if you want to be an athlete.
Right.
And here's the other thing. As you evolve, you show up on day one, just like you just said. As you evolve, what you believe an athlete is evolves.
It needs to be.
Right.
The one thing to realize, I think, that anybody that's just starting to get into any realm, especially when it comes to athletics, that once you've started to master something, you need to understand that once you become comfortable with it, you need to push to something else.
Right.
Once you've got a routine down and you start to become successful with it, great. You need to find something else that you're becoming uncomfortable with.
Sure.
Whether it's find a different time, find a different routine, find a different weight, find a different schedule, find something that you become uncomfortable with.
And not just in that.
Yeah.
I think for an athlete's brain, I think it has to be in every aspect of your life. Like you doing this podcast. This is not easy for you. Like it makes you like to do it, but it makes you uncomfortable.
Sure.
It made me uncomfortable when I first started. The technology made me very uncomfortable. So that made me really uncomfortable. And so I knew I should do it. Life coaching at first made me really uncomfortable. The thought of it made me uncomfortable. And now it's the idea of it is not.
Right.
You know, and I think you have to keep evolving like that. There's people that I'm friends with that I know that if they're not outside their comfort zone, they're uncomfortable.
Right.
They're only uncomfortable in their comfort zone. Yeah. Like they're like,
exactly,
this is too easy. I got to move to something else. And if you get into that mindset, like stop living for the cheat meal. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Stop living for that. And I understood that when I first started dieting again, and I don't want to call it dieting. Dieting's a terrible word. No. When I started eating how I should, I would live for 6 weeks. I'm going to do a cheat meal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And here's the funny thing is, I'm never happy on that cheat day. And I don't call it cheat days anymore. I call them reward days. And I found if I did the whole day like that, by the end of the day, I felt like crap anyway. So I started going, I'm just going to pick one thing. Instead of doing a whole day of it, I'm going to do one meal. And then it didn't even become one meal. It became one thing. I'm going to have a piece of cheesecake. And it comes down to what I've been told my whole life, which everything in moderation. And that always bothered me. I always hated it. And then here I am at 49 years old. I'm like, oh crap, everything in moderation. Like it works. Yeah. It works. Like, except for soda. I've totally cut out soda. Yep. Even on a cheat day, I don't think I'm ever going to drink soda again. It's so bad for you. It's so bad for you. There are some things that are sold in a grocery store that I can't believe they get rid of Dr. Seuss, Pepe Le Pew, Speedy Gonzalez. They get rid of all this stuff, but yet they sell Coke.
Well, what's crazy is that obviously, like, you got to be 21 to buy alcohol. Yeah. But by all means, drink all the soda that you want because
and that shows you where we're at.
Your body.
It shows you
so bad.
It's funny. There's still a stigma about being an athlete.
Yeah.
They're stupid, which, by the way, statistically not true.
Right.
Everything has showed that athletes are smarter, or that athletes' brain activity and everything else is actually better. Yeah. Are you smarter than, I don't know, Stephen Hawkins? No, obviously you're not. But you're doing the most with what you have. I think that's what athletes learn.
Depends what you consider smart. Am I going to be able to solve physics? Probably not. But am I going to be able to know what goes into my body and how to take care of myself and live longer and all those things? Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. I know plenty of my brother-in-law has 2 or 3 PhDs. And he hikes and bikes and he does all the exercising stuff that I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. He does all of it.
Yeah.
Triathlons, he's run marathons, he's done all that. Genius, genius level genius. Yeah. And, he's an athlete. Yeah. He's an athlete. And a lot of athletes I talk with, unbelievably intelligent. By the way, Michael Irvin, unbelievably intelligent. Yeah. And, but it's what you find interesting too.
Sure.
Like you personally are one of the smartest people I know in what you find interesting.
I think that when people are intelligent, especially when athletes, the things that they're passionate about, they're going to research them, they're going to study them, they're going to basically experiment in them and find out what works. Tom Brady is a genius.
Right.
Because
Peyton Manning
they're 2 of the greatest examples because if you look at both of them physically, they look like mailmen.
Right.
They are. Like if you watch, I saw the video the other day. Tom Brady ran his 40 time at the combine in khakis. And he ran it at like a 5.5.
They timed it with a calendar.
He looked so bad. All the left tackles at the combine that are guys that are like 6'7", 350 were faster than him.
Yeah.
He looked horrible. But look at this guy now, the greatest quarterback, the greatest NFL player of all time.
Right.
And he is in phenomenal shape at 43. Is probably still going to play for another 3, 4, 5 years.
Probably in better shape than when he was at the
combine. Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
And he's going to break every quarterback record He's going to have more rings than fingers.
Yeah.
He is phenomenal in the way he takes care of his body. Because why? He goes to bed at 8:30 every night. He knows every nutrient and every mineral and every calorie that's going into his body. He knows how to take care of it.
Right.
He's a genius.
Yeah.
You know, there are nutritionists that don't know how to take care of a body like he does.
Right.
The trainers with the Patriots got so upset having to deal with him because he was telling them, no, you're not going to tell me what to do with my body. I'm going to tell you what to do with my body.
Right.
And he knew, because he knows what to do with his body.
Mm-hmm.
The results show.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning, he didn't know how to use a microwave, but you can't
dress himself.
Right. But you couldn't tell anybody, you couldn't tell me that there's nobody who's smarter how to read an NFL defense than Peyton Manning. Because nobody probably spent more time than Peyton Manning. Yeah. He's a genius, and his wit and his sarcasm and just
he's hilarious.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, and it's just not football.
No.
I mean, boxers
are
there's some boxers that I'm like, you can say whatever you want about Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Yeah,
he's stupid is not one of them.
No, just because, and obviously
MMA fighter George St. Pierre.
Oh my gosh,
George St. Pierre, unbelievable, dude. You can't say he's stupid. Here's another prime example of someone who's an unbelievable athlete that's smart. Joe Rogan. Because he never stops learning.
The man's brilliant.
Yeah.
The things they're passionate about, they want to know, they will find out, and they'll continue to explore them. They'll continue to find out why, what's behind it, and they may find out things that nobody else knows about them.
Well, it's like what Einstein said. You know, everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by how he climbs a tree, he's going to look like an idiot.
Right.
Like if I can talk to someone about physics, but I can take him bass fishing and he'll look like a moron.
Right.
But I happen to know more about bass fishing than him. And it's what people are finding valuable now in life. But there's still this stigma around athletes that they're not smart. Okay. And it could have something to do with how, they talk in the media, LeBron James. But, it's not true. Kobe Bryant.
Well, I think obviously, like I was talking to my son this morning, because I was talking about your time and your dedication, the things you're going to dedicate yourself to, like all these people we've talked about, the things they've dedicated themselves to because of their passions, they're going to be successful because that's what they're creative with. They're geniuses in that. I use The Rock.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Rock's political affiliations and mine are two very different things, but he's a genius at what he does.
Oh,
his business affiliations, his marketing skills his connections with people, his entertaining skills.
He absolutely,
the man's brilliant.
Well, he understands too that his body makes him money.
Absolutely.
He understands that. And so his body and a lot of athletes are like this. Athletics is a means to an end.
Right.
Some people don't want to be champions. They just want to get a college scholarship so they can be physicists.
Right.
So again, you're still an athlete.
Right.
It just bothers me that there's still this stigma that you're automatically stupid if you're an athlete. Right. And it's like, no, they just chose to take a different route than you.
Right.
And I know plenty of mathematicians that are great athletes.
Right.
So but there's still this stigma. And here's what it is at the end of the day. It's excuses for why you don't go to the gym.
Right.
I don't go to the gym because you can punch a dummy.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're not. Lee Haney is one of the smartest people.
Oh my gosh.
Ronnie Coleman's one of the smartest people.
Absolutely.
Dorian Yates, one of the smartest people on the planet.
Well, you still see Dorian Yates, and that man's still working. You already see like Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler's still a beast.
Not the Bear quarterback, by the way.
No.
The bodybuilder.
The Jay Cutler. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a prime example though. It's just another stereotype.
Yeah.
And people use that stereotype as an excuse though.
Mm-hmm.
Like your IQ points don't go down because you worked out today.
Oh no.
Like you're still, if you're an ad executive or whatever, and you're overweight, you go to the gym for the first time ever, you're not going to come out afterwards and be like, I can't remember how to do
math.
Adobe.
Yeah, right.
Like it doesn't happen that way. No. So but people still use that as an excuse. Just like what is the excuse other than it's comfort to eat poorly? Mine is convenience. Mm-hmm. When I go and I'm eating terrible, it's because I'm dry. By the way, worst thing you can put in your body, and my favorite thing to eat, Pop-Tarts. Worst thing you can put in your body. it's nothing but preservatives and fake stuff. Like there's not one thing on the label that's under 4 letters and has nothing but consonants in it. Like it's just like sulfate, blah, 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 and it just keeps going. Like it's the worst thing you can put in your body, but it's the most convenient when I'm on my way and I'm in a hurry. So now I have to allot my time if I don't food prep for the week, which I usually don't, because the way I eat, I made it idiot proof because I'm an idiot when it comes to eating. I will do whatever's convenient.
Oh yeah.
So I do lots of jasmine rice. I've lost 10 pounds in the last 3 weeks because I'm back eating how I should.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, there's no reward or cheat meal in my future. I don't even think about it anymore. And I'm now one day I haven't been like, oh, I still want to eat that. And it's hard because at work they had nothing but cakes. You know, those little, oh my gosh, that's the best thing on the face of the planet.
Those chocolate ones are pretty good.
The chocolate, the red
velvet,
velvet,
those things are freaking amazing.
Everything except the lemon ones. I don't like the lemon ones. I like all the other ones. Chocolate chip.
Yeah.
They're spectacular.
Yeah.
But we've had them twice at work since I've been back eating well. We've had them twice. Both times I said no.
Yeah.
And one day it was the little ones. The little ones, you can so justify just having one.
Yeah.
But I knew 1 was leading to 2 and 2 was leading to 10.
Yeah.
Because they were everywhere. It was my boss's birthday and they had like 6 boxes of the little ones. And then this week they had the bigger ones and they came out with 2 of them, my 2 favorite flavors. And they're like, here, Jason. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Well, that's the thing is like when you can think about that next level above and beyond what it's going to do to your body, if you can equate it to what sugar does to your body, what preservatives do to your body. Sugar affects your brain just like cocaine.
Right.
Just like
that's why sodas are so bad for you.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I know because I've gone 12 weeks of clean eating.
Yeah.
And that's what I call it. It's clean eating. It's not a diet.
Yeah.
Because if you think of it as a diet, there's an end. There's an end to the diet. Oh, I'm doing keto. I'm going to be done March 31st. You know, it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Like, is there a March 31st? I never can remember. 30.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I'm good. So, but and there's no cheat meal in my future. It's like I don't even think about it now.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing cheat meals or reward meals, I would do it and I would drink a Coke and then eat 3 donuts and feel like I got hit by a truck.
You feel like crap.
You feel when you're used to it and your body's using it as energy while it's storing fat, by the way, it's terrible. Not to mention the fact 1 20-ounce Coke is what, 400 calories?
At least.
200. Like I think it's 250. I think there's 2. I know a can of Coke, there's 1.5 servings. And I think whoever goes, oh, look, I've finished 1.15. Like it's 1 serving, bro.
Yeah.
1 20-ounce Coke is 1 serving.
Yeah.
But not what the label says. And yeah, I think it's 400 calories or 450 of empty, nothing good for you calories.
Yeah. And
I would drink one and I'd get a headache afterwards because I got rid of that sugar need. I got rid of the addiction. And I just feel like I got hit by a truck to the point now where I think about it. And all I thought about was like when I went to the gas station, I would always buy a 20-ounce Pepsi because that's what I did. It was just habit. Yeah. And then once I got out of the habit, I'm like, oh, I can grab a Celsius instead, which still isn't good for you. And then grab a water, but it's only 5 calories. And I grab a water instead, and then I'll put my flavor packets in it because I'm not a big water fan, which is my biggest drawback in dieting. And I'll grab it instead. And then I got used to it. And then you get used to it, and then all of a sudden you don't need to grab it. And that addiction goes away.
Right.
But it is an addiction. Oh, yeah. Like you're addicted to and then I had to get out of the eating breakfast food for breakfast. I still I eat bacon and eggs at least once or twice a week. I've been on diet for 3 weeks now. I went from 217, I'm down to 207. And I lost that 10 pounds. And I don't even think about it. Like it's got to be idiot proof. I eat, and for breakfast this morning, I had strawberries and jasmine rice. I will do oatmeal, but I do the weight control oatmeal because it has less sugar because I'm trying to stay away from processed sugars, which are so bad for you. And then I drink lots of water. I drink lots of tea. I don't give up caffeine. Caffeine's not that bad for you. It's the sugar you put in the caffeine that's bad for you.
Right.
And I usually I'm done eating about 4. I think last night I had my last calories at 6, and then I don't eat again until I get up. And I wouldn't call it intermediate fasting because I'm not on a designated schedule, but I eat my calories as early in the day as I can stand. But the last 2 days, I've lost 10 pounds. I've eaten 2 ribeyes in the last 4 days. It's not a problem because I do it in 6-ounce sessions, and I put it with some jasmine rice and I eat it. And it's not that it isn't a detriment to me.
Yeah.
It's when you sit down and you eat a ribeye with a loaded baked potato with a salad with ranch on it,
a bunch of butter,
and you eat the bread they bring to the table because you're at Outback and all that. It's when you put it all together that you have a problem, and your whole meal's 2,500 calories. You know, one ribeye, I think 6 ounces of ribeye is less than 400 calories. It's less than a 20-ounce Coke, I think. So, and I like ribeyes, so I eat a ribeye.
Yeah,
I eat ground beef. I had protein pasta with red sauce and ground beef yesterday. You don't have to starve yourself to eat right.
No, you're not supposed to starve yourself.
Number one mistake. I told my wife she lost like 75 pounds, but she's doing 1,400 calories a day. I'm like, how are you going to keep that up? 1,400 calories. But she doesn't lift. She only does cardio.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need by the way, if you're over 35 and all you do is cardio, you would not believe the results if you would just pick up a weight now and again, because you need to keep that lean muscle mass.
Yeah.
And these people that are cardio fiends, I'm glad that feeds your addiction, but it lifts some weights.
I was gonna say your muscles need that resistance.
Oh, for sure.
They need that work.
For sure. And you'll be surprised. Your mile time will go down. Everything you're doing in cardio will get better if you start lifting weights. Everybody's like, I don't want to get bulky. Nobody has that problem. Do I look bulky? Do I look bulky?
I'm not going to swell up, I promise.
Yeah, I wish I would. By the way, why is that allowed? Oh, we got 3 minutes left. Why is that allowed? Why is that allowed that you can be a man trapped in a woman's body and they'll give you hormones? But I'm a bodybuilder trapped in this body, and they won't give me Anadrol or Winstrol. Why is that?
I want to get bigger.
I'm Lee Haney trapped in this body.
So maybe if I go tell them I recognize myself as a woman, they'll give them to me.
Well, yeah, but then they're giving me estrogen.
I recognize as a woman, and I want to be a man.
Here's the thing. I am The Rock and Goldberg in this puny little body. So I need Anadrol and Winstrol.
Please.
And now I'm almost 50. It's like, just give me the steroids. I should start drinking and smoking right now because I made it all the way to 50 not doing it. Right. I might as well do it now and live the last 20, 30 years of my life.
I recognize in my mind the guy, the mountain, what's his name? Bjorn.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
The guy's like 6'9", like 400.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm him, but I need the supplements and I need the actual medical chemicals to get that place. So please get
right. I with that point where you don't have to worry about what you eat.
Yeah.
Like
I eat everything.
I want that many drugs that I can put in my
body. I've watched the
body.
video of what he does and eats on a daily basis, the 6,000 calorie diet.
Yeah. Who's the guy that broke the world record and then said I can't powerlift anymore? I'll be dead in a few years. Ryan Hall.
Eddie Hall.
Eddie Hall.
Yeah,
Eddie Hall.
The English guy.
He's awesome, by the way.
Wow.
But he looks great.
Yeah.
Have you seen him? He's lost like 180 pounds.
Yeah. Well, I've watched Phil Heath or Phil Green.
Yeah.
Like Olympic bodybuilder. I've watched his routine.
Phil Heath.
Yeah, it's like a machine. You have to eat at a specific time each day. You got to eat the specific things. You can't tell me they're not smart because they have to be machines in how they eat, how they provide. Their bodies are sweating as they eat because their muscles are actually
their metabolism
as they're actually consuming the food.
Yeah. Well, that's what muscle does. It eats fat.
Yeah.
That's why people that don't lift, I'm like, it's funny because when you say, the old joke, do you even lift, bro?
Yeah.
But if you say, do you lift at all? Like when I talk to people, they're like, I'm having such a hard time losing weight.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you lifting any weights? And right away they think bodybuilder. I'm like, you don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't even have to use 10 pounders. Use 10 pounds.
Get the pink dumbbells.
Yeah, get the pink dumbbells. It doesn't matter.
No.
You don't have to be there with 90-pound curls going, I'm a better.
Just scream.
Yeah. And then drop them on the floor.
Oh my God.
That's the problem. Those guys give weightlifting a bad name.
Yeah.
No, you can do deep lunges with 5 pounds.
Yeah.
To just start, add muscle.
Yeah.
Add a little bit of resistance. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
If you love cardio, go 15 to 25 reps with light weight.
Yeah.
Because they've proven that like they remember when we were young, they were like, 3 to 8 or 5 to 8 reps, as heavy as you can go to get as big as you want.
Yep.
That isn't how it works. It's volume. If you do 5 sets of 15 with lighter weight, you will get the same volume, or you will get the same size as the person that's lifting 5 to 8 reps with 315 pounds.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're lifting the same amount of weight.
Yeah.
It's just resistance. It's just volume. And all the studies that are coming out now are saying it's overall volume. It's not, and that goes against everything me and you think.
Oh, absolutely.
Like right now,
the way we grew up.
right now I'm saying it. I'm like, that's gotta be bullshit. That's bullshit. Because I'm like, no, 225, 10 times.
Put another plate on.
And it's like, no, it's not 225, 10 times. I can do 145 with extra sets. And at the end, if we both lifted 1,500 pounds over that time, we will get the same size.
Yeah.
We will get the same size. And people are like, no.
It's mad.
Yeah.
It's mad.
It's just, I have a friend that's all he does. He does volume training. It's not about sets or how much weight he's doing at the time. It's, did I lift 1,500 pounds at the end? And he does that, and he gets size, and he gets, I know a bunch of guys now that are older that are bodybuilders, and they're like, I wish I would have known this when I was younger, because I would have saved so much stress on my body. Instead of doing 405 in squats, I could have done 315 and done extra reps and still lifted 3,000 pounds and would have gotten the same size, which I still have a hard time believing. Like, even as I'm saying it right now, I've read the research. I know it's true, and I'm still going, it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Well, moral of the story is chick stick size.
Robert Frank, swole is the goal, size is the pride. How did we turn what's an athlete into a diet and weightlifting show?
It's about being an athlete.
It is. And here's the thing. Here, if we get anything out of today's show, and I'm going to make an announcement after I say this too. Will and I are going to make an announcement.
Yeah.
Is get there. Find your inner athlete. No matter how stupid you think you look, no matter how dumb you, just get to a gym.
Right.
And become your inner athlete. But coaches out there, that became a big part of contention for me. And when I went back to coaching, because I took about 3 years off, I was only doing stand-up. And that's when I got back into my athletic phase. And I started lifting again, and I started doing that stuff. When I went back to coaching, my coaching was so much better because my girls respected me more. My athletes respected me more because they could look at me. They could see my body. They could see that I'm not asking them to do anything that I'm unwilling to do.
Absolutely.
And I was so out of shape when I left coaching that I think there was lack of respect there, where they're like, you're making us do mat pushes and you can't do one? That's stupid. Like, there's a respect that comes along with it. I get treated different at a grocery store when I'm in shape. I get treated different everywhere I go by other people that I meet. You get treated different.
It's an innate response.
It is.
Yeah.
And you respect strength. And if you look good and you don't have to look like a pro bodybuilder. You don't have to look like someone that runs 85 million marathons a year. You don't have to look like that. All you got to do is be better than you were yesterday.
Right.
That's it.
Be the best you today that's better than you were yesterday, and work better the next day.
Right. And here's a little hint. Here's a little hint, guys. There's going to be days you fail.
Oh, absolutely. There's
going to be days you don't make it. And you're like, I was not better today than I was yesterday. You know what they call people that don't have shitty days? Corpses.
Liars.
No, corpses. They're dead. Their worst day was the day they died, and they haven't had a bad day since.
That's right.
So that's what they call them. They're corpses. You have to have bad days.
Yeah.
If you're not having bad days, you're not pushing towards anything.
Right.
So, and you know what? So lazy people that sit at the couch still have bad days. That eat sweets all day and sit on the couch and play Fortnite and do all that, they have bad days too.
Right.
So you might, if you're gonna have bad days, you might as well have them looking the best you can look.
There you go.
Or being the best you can be.
Amen.
So I say it's on my shirt. Do the work, man. Do the work. I'm into right now. I'm into shirts that say stuff. Like I have one that says less talk, more chalk. That's actually it's a powerlifting shirt, but it works for gymnastics too. I have another one that says courage. I have another one that says it has a lion's head on it. It says royalty. So I'm into it. I especially when they were making us wear masks, I was into it because I'm like, I need individuality.
You need some motto.
Yeah. So I got a whole bunch. I bought some from Robert Frank. I bought some from Lions Not Sheep. I bought some from he's a CrossFitter, which I don't disrespect CrossFit as much as other people do. You just got to be careful. But anyway, that's the show today. But our announcement, there's a new podcast coming. It's going to be called Full Circle Warrior. It's going to be Will and I and guests.
Yes.
And it's going to launch a lot of things. It's part of my life coaching business, our life coaching business. It's part of, it's going to be a podcast. We're also going to have a Facebook group that you can join and you'll get free stuff. You'll get workouts. You'll get life advice, all that good stuff. It'll go along with the podcast. So we're real excited about it and it'll be really cool. The screen's so small you can't see the new studio, but we got a whole bunch of stuff in the new studio. Here, I'll show you the skateboards. See the skateboards? Oh, look how cool that looks. Looks so cool. Anyway, so we're gonna have a lot of guests on that and stuff. So keep a lookout for that. I actually put it all together today on Buzzsprout. So we're excited about it. Yeah, so cool. We did go over a little bit, but only by 6 minutes. That's 7 minutes.
That doesn't even count.
No, 7 minutes is nothing. No. If you go over 7 minutes in your workout, you're having a good day.
That's right.
So thanks everybody. Hope you guys got something out of this. As always, we veered off track. Let me rephrase that. Let's be real. I veered off track. Will was on track the whole time thinking, no, man, when are you going to get back on track?
Good stuff.
It was good stuff. I think today was a really good episode. It's funny because as I podcast, I see a lot of gymnastics podcasts out there, which I never thought would exist. There's like 2 or 3.
Is that like Loch Ness?
Yeah. I'm like, why would you only do a podcast on gymnastics? So I hope you guys enjoyed that we veer off track and do a bunch of sports and do self-help and stuff like that too. So like I said, keep an eye out for a Full Circle Warrior. We will actually, do an announcement and send out some stuff and all that good stuff. So anyway, as Anthony says, like, comment, share. What's the other one?
Follow.
Subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks again, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.